to be engrossed with the mind like this, like that, will continuously create differentiations. It is mental karma, mental karmic difficulties. There is no conclusion. Samsara doesn't have it. The samsara uses options according to its own opinions and meanings. Optional according to one's own belief values and mental values. That's why it turns into varieties of the mind and the money. The mind and the money. This is not called nana chittang, which is variations of the mind. Instead, it is called nana chitkatang, which is variations of the mind and the money. Taking money into account only. Therefore, it's just the mind and the money only in that kind of variations of the mind, according to its own taking into account. The delusion to practice is leading towards torturing. Is the continuous practice of self-torturing. All the practices in this way and that way is called self-torturing. Whatever that is practiced is called self-torturing. It is karma. Whether it is the practice in the worldly way or in the spiritual way is called self-suffering, self-torture. It is the tied up of the karmic difficulties. The karmic difficulties in practices. It is the binding karmic difficulties with practices, whether it is worldly or spiritually. It continues back and forth endlessly. With the conclusion of Nibbana, without trying to let go or not letting go, this is great. All the same, without trying to be attached or not attached, liberating or not liberating. This is great. This is balance, all the same with everything. This is giving ending for the burdens, for both worldly and spiritual ways. With everything, there is no need to try to let go or not letting go. Proceed all together in the same way. No need to try to let go or not letting go, all the same, and we proceed like this all together. No need to try to let go or not letting go, all the same. That's it. In this way, you don't need to try to create the great compassion in the way that is distorting at all, in the way that is wrong at all. You don't have to try to create the great compassion in the way that is practicing self-torturing in the great compassion itself. The conclusion that is made by Nibbana all the same like this, that's it. There is no need to try to find methods and ways to bless like this, like that at all. Using Nibbana as a conclusion instantly. That's a great compassion, without differentiations. Who would know that the practice itself is self-torture? For both, the practice of worldly and spiritual is the self-torture, which is karma. It's karma. Don't you know that the practice itself is karma? Whether you are practicing the mind or doing anything with the mind is mental karma. It's already said mental karma, verbal karma, and physical karma. Who would realize this? They deny that practices are self-torture. They like so much to practice the self-torture. Practicing this one, practicing that one. Both practicing worldly and spiritually is called self-torture. It has nothing to do with attachment or non-attachment, liberation or no liberation. It has nothing to do with overcoming or not overcoming, all the same. It has nothing to do with letting go or not letting go, like this, all the same. Then it's done. Then there is no flaw, all the same. This has nothing to do with saying that it is the great compassion. It already is by itself, by its essence, the great compassion. It cannot become the great compassion because of the attempt to let go and not letting go. The obsession with letting go and not letting go, detaching or not detaching, liberating or not liberating, it's impossible for the great compassion to be there ever. There is still a concern. The concept is made to create a concern. Opinions and meanings are made as a concern. Concerning with letting go and not letting go, liberating or not liberating. Concerning with discarding or not discarding. Concerning with cutting or not cutting. There's still concern with the conceptual mindset. That's why it cannot become the great compassion ever. Only just taking it for oneself. Seeking for the perfection, for the parami to oneself. Therefore, all practices are the same, whether it is worldly or spiritually. They are self-torture. Having concern with the attempt to begin and to end. When there's no more trying to let go or not letting go, immediately it's not about trying to begin or to end already. With this, it's not going to be engrossed with varieties of the mind already. It will not be engrossed with the mind like this, like that already. Automatically, it will dissolve all types of minds like this, like that. When not having to let go or not letting go in certain ways, no matter how the minds are in whatever ways, it has nothing to do with that already. It has nothing to do with the mind in whatever ways. Automatically, naturally, it will have nothing to do with the anicca. The anicca will have nothing to do with the anicca. Anatta will have nothing to do with the anatta. Dukkha as well will have nothing to do with itself. When not having to let go or not letting go, naturally, it will have nothing to do with anicca, dukkha, and anatta. It will have nothing to do with the ever-changing, with meaninglessness, and with the unbearableness. Naturally, it will have nothing to do with anything. There is no need to try to relate or not relate all the same. There is no need to try to discard or not discard all the same. There is no need to try to cut or not cutting all the same. That is the Satya Dharma of the true origin, the true nature of all things. Because the true origin of all things has nothing to do with cutting or not cutting, discarding or not discarding. It has nothing to do with attaching or non-attaching. That's the true origin of all nature. The true origin doesn't have attachment or non-attachment either. Attachment and non-attachment exist because of the opinions and meanings that is in its projection. The practice itself is the practice that is directed by opinions and meanings. That's why it's called Titi, opinions and meanings. The true origin of all nature doesn't have having or not having. Having and not having exists because of the titi of the practice. By the practice of self-torture. The two things that create extreme stress is letting go and not letting go. This is the burden for both the commoners and the noble ones. The noble ones still trying to let go. For all beings, for the commoners, is the trying to not letting go. The burdens of the beings are trying to let go, trying to not letting go, trying to be attached, trying to grasp. With the conclusion of Nibbana, it will give ending to the status of being commoners and the noble ones, extinct this kind of DNA. It's unrealized that the trying to let go is itself the self-torture. In Nibbana, there is no such thing as letting go or not letting go. This indicates that when it's there, it's not Nibbana. Nibbana doesn't even exist. Nibbana is there is because of the delusion. Without delusion, there is no Nibbana. The delusion of Nibbana like this, like that, is extremely deluded. Nibbana exists because of the delusion is there. Without delusion, Nibbana won't exist already as it is. So when there is a delusion about Nibbana like this, like that, is extreme delusion. Nibbana like this, like that, is extreme delusion. This is unrealized conceptual mindset. This is the unrealized conceptual mindset, which is delusively created by one's own opinions and meanings, making up something out of nothing, and that's it. continuously being oneself in this and that, on and on. Unrealized conceptual mindset. Delusively creating opinions and meanings, and then give it a value. Delusively creating attitudes, and then giving values to attitudes. This is unrealized. The conclusion with the enlightenment is like a rare thing. It's like trying to look for a needle under the ocean. All of this essence has been in all the great perfections, the Mahaparami. They have done the conclusion through Nibbana for uncountable times. From Buddha eras to the next, across Buddha eras. Which is called the conclusion that has been made with all the Buddhas in every Buddha era. So all of the essence has been in all the great perfections. All the great compassion hold the essential code. All the noble followers still have a lot of karmic difficulties. Within all these noble followers of the Buddhas, there are still a lot of karmic difficulties in terms of conceptual mindset. This is because the forms of those followers of the Buddhas haven't been with the essence of the great compassion at all times. Instead, it's coming from the conceptual mindset, from the value given to opinions and meanings. That's why it's like that in the context of those Buddha followers. They are giving values to letting go or not letting go, liberating or not liberating, ending or not ending, emptying or not emptying, nibbana or not nibbana. They are giving values to ending or not ending. All the Buddha followers, they proceed according to their own conceptual mindset. When the Buddha followers follow according to the great compassion, they will not be categorized as Buddha followers. So the essence of the great compassion is not about something ending something or something letting go of something. It has nothing to do with concepts about letting go or not letting go, finishing or not finishing, ending or not ending, having or not having, completing or not completing. It has nothing to do with conceptual mindsets. In conclusion, there is no need to try to let go or not letting go all the same with everything. And there is no need to say that that's the great compassion because it is as it is in its essence. Just like the word everything or the word all the same. There is no need to try to let go or not letting go all the same. Even you don't call it as the great compassion, it is the great compassion by its essence already.